What's up, everybody? Alexander here, High Winds EDC. Good to see you guys again. It's been a long time. That being said, I got something kind of like quick and spontaneous for you guys. It's a full review. We are doing a full review of this amazing work knife. This is the Urban Supply EDC Becerro. And let me tell you guys, I love this blade, man. It has become my favorite guy to carry, to use. It kind of checks a lot of the boxes for me that the Urban Supply F5.5 by Voxnays checks for me, but it also does a little bit more. We'll get into that a little bit. I don't have one for comparison, but I will say for the longest time, the Urban Supply EDC 5.5 by Voxnays was my favorite knife of all time. But getting into the buy-sell trade aspect of the knife collecting enthusiast game, it just, it had to go, and I miss it. And so I got this guy whenever it was announced. It sat on shelves for a little while over at Urban Supply. They've got some fat carbon. They have some like green carbon, like multi-tie or moku-tie maybe as well. But this one's mine. Let's get in the full review. And in true High Winds fashion, we go from tip to butt. It comes in a beautiful clip point style flat ground blade, which we appreciate. At first I thought, like online and stuff and doing watching reviews, at first I thought it was a hollow grind, but no, it is a full flat grind, which we appreciate. A lot of life. You got a very nice clip point here. The finish on this blade is called dark wash, so it's just a stone wash that's darkened and blasted a little bit. You got some nice jimping right here for when you choke up on it. It is thumb hole and flipper deployment. It is a MagnaCut blade, which we appreciate out here in the East Coast now. You can see this one's got plenty of use. But I will say I have been rust pitting my guy. So High Winds EDC is capable of sweating through and rusting a little bit of MagnaCut. So that's a huge milestone for me. That's really nice. You do have a really nice plunge grind that's set super far back to where this choil is. So you got a lot of blade life, which we appreciate when we sharpen our knives. Isn't that right, guys? I do love this like belly of the blade. It really allows you to use the full edge. We really appreciate that. I compare this knife to the Spyderco Shaman, which is one of my all-time favorite EDC knives, but I've sold 2 Shamans now off, and I just kind of was like, all right, we'll just hold off on the Shaman for now. But this checks that Shaman box for me, I feel like. Really nice. Like we said, I love the jimping right here on the spine. The spine is crowned. Let's get a good look at that. Very nice and comfortable for when you are choking up on this guy, which is pretty much the primary hand grip that you're going to take. You may do a little bit of reverse gripping. It's not super comfortable for reverse grip and you fall out of that choil. But right here is where I stay at with it, or I'll come up here when I'm cutting open a box in a pinch grip style cut. The action is in caged bearings, which they're nice. I want to upgrade them to skiffs, maybe try that out. And then I do know that skiff has also a same compatible, what do they call it? The thick washers for the action. So I may try to get a pair of skiff bearings and then get a pair of thick washers. There's a set on there that's compatible, but they're always sold out. So I think those are for like the Roosevelts and stuff like that for washer action. We have dark blue denim, and it has patinaed oh so nice over the last few months since I've purchased this thing. Love this guy oh so very much. It is a liner lock, which is also stone washed on the inside, so it matches the finish of the blade. Liner lock, I love the liner locks that Box does because they're shadow boxed, so that means they're inset inside of the thing. Whenever you go to close the knife, you do not pinch yourself between the micarta and the liner lock, which happens to a lot of liner locks, happens to a lot of bolster locks as well. Pena X series, if you think about that, you kind of pinch yourself. But this one, I have not had that problem. There's just enough of a chamfer. It's very, very minimal, but there's enough space in between that you can get the meat of your thumb down in there. And then, of course, I don't like flipper knives. I just don't. But this one is probably my favorite of all time, because I think it is such a minimal flipper that it doesn't it doesn't pronounce itself, so to speak. So really nice. I like it a lot. And then whenever it's deployed, it is kind of hidden away, and you do kind of get to choke up on the inside of that. Titanium hardware, so titanium pivot, titanium body screws, looks really handsome. I love this style of lanyard hole. Is my favorite. I love this style of clip. Besides a wire clip, this is my second favorite clip. I know a lot of people complain about it because it is so pronounced. It is very flimsy, but if you're careful, you shouldn't have any problems. Titanium backspacer has been very nice. I really like it. Just a very handsome knife, one that I can throw in the pocket when I'm at work and know that I can rely on it. Now, here's one of the cons. Remember I said that there's plenty of space in between the scales right here to get to the liner lock? Well, guess what else happens? That means that that space transfers to the spine. So this is the con that I have with this guy. If you're trying to like fish it out of your pocket like so, your finger can get in between there and you can touch the edge. Look at how, and that's if you're trying, or if you're absent-minded and you're reaching in your pocket and, like, let's say holding something up that you need to cut or holding something you need to cut, and you're like trying to get this out of your pocket, you could cut yourself. And that is a huge knock for me. But that being said, now that I'm mindful of it, I'm very careful whenever I take the knife out or when you're handing it to somebody. Look, even as I go right here, just with the meat of my finger, I can touch that start of the choil. This is the part of the blade that comes into contact with my finger. So we don't love that. It's not okay. It's a big red flag, guys, and it needs to be said. Other than that, I love using this knife. I've sharpened it several times. You guys tell I use it. I've used it in several ways, and I think it's like towards the tip up here. Sorry, trying to get my face up out of there. I mean, I've got a little bit of uneven sharpening. The bevel came pretty even. Sorry, that's just some lint. The bevel came pretty freaking even, guys. If you can see that, we like it. So, I love the ergonomics. I love the finish of this guy. I love how it looks now that I've been carrying it around for a few months. The micarta has patinaed just the way I like it. And yeah, this has just been a fun knife. I haven't had to like tighten up any of the hardware. Disassembly is super fun. I love to disassemble this guy. The liner lock is like my favorite of all of the liner locks I've ever tried. Voxnays does like the best one. And the reason why I got this knife, not only because the F5.5 was one of my favorite knives of all time, but I feel like this is like the older brother. Like this is like maybe the bigger, badder model. I do think that the sheep's foot blade is probably better for EDC because it is just a more utility style blade shape. However, even though the blade stocks I think are almost identical, I could be wrong on that. This one, since it's such a long flat grind, you get a very nice thin slicey edge, and you'll have that for a long time as long as you keep up with the edge profile and you're not like reprofiling every month or something. You're gonna have a lot of good edge left. Now, the thing about flat grinds is the longer you have a knife, the less thin behind the edge it gets over time, and that's just a trade-off to having such a, quite frankly, one of the better blade grinds you can have. And so yeah, I mean, I love this knife. Voxnays really has a design language that speaks to me just like Enrique Peña does for me. But this guy is really nice. Now, this is not an American-made knife. This is a knife that is made and manufactured overseas. I don't think that it has been announced who the profiler is, but it's going to be the same, the OEM, sorry, not the profiler. it's going to probably be the same OEM as the F5.5. So take that with what you will. Urban Supply EDC, Vox, and the OEM have a good relationship together, and so that's kind of how they were able to put these forward. Now, my dream version of this would be the chamfered brass, but those have sold out very quickly, time and time again. Like they've had 2 runs of the brass ones, and they've sold out each time. So congratulations to them. I think it is their highest selling, quickest selling knife that Urban Supply EDC has ever put out. If not, it's like the second. But that being said, this sat on the shelf for a while. I marinated on it, and I finally grabbed it, and I'm glad. This is like my hard use full-size folder. It is a full-size knife. Even though you're not getting a ton of cutting edge, you're getting about as much cutting edge as like a native 5, which, I mean, that is, if that's not your cup of tea, but it really just fills the hand very nicely. The design language is very nice. You can one-hand close it, of course. I like to get the middle finger there, drop it, and then boom. Let's see how the action really looks. Good. You get a little bit of a double action there because the flipper does hit your thumb. Gives you plenty of time to get your finger out of the way. So yeah, that has been the full review, the High Winds EDC full review of the Urban Supply EDC Becerro. I love this thing, guys. I got my own little lanyard on it. I think it's perfect. Let's see how it looks in the pocket. There you go. These are slanted jeans. Not a whole lot of pocket profile. It is got in the pocket. It's not super heavy. It is lightweight because of the titanium liners. And the balance point is like is behind the pivot. So sorry. Got to get it kind of at an angle. So as you can see, it's like right behind the pivot in the chamfer right here, this ricasso or whatever. I do like how these are 3D milled, kind of like they've got contouring on the scales. That really lends to some great ergonomics. You've got a ricasso here, which is really nice, kind of lightens things up, knocks it down, the hard edges. I've got like some mud, like not mud, but patina stains, some sweat stains. I'm trying to think of what else I can say about it that I haven't already said or that another reviewer hasn't said. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, blade centering. Blade centering is on point. We appreciate that as knife tubers and enthusiasts. We really like that. All executed very well. I do love the liner lock because it's titanium on titanium, but because the liner cups around the tang of the blade, it just kind of makes it that much more effective in my personal opinion. Detent is nice. I mean, it's a little light. This is a press switch. No, it's a flick switch. Sorry, you flick it. It's not a press switch like Shiragorovs are or whatever. But yeah, other than that, it's really nice. I like it. I don't like the double clutch, you know, boom, knock your finger and then let it drop. I don't love that about the knife, but it's okay. Kind of keeps it safe so that way you know you get your thumb out of the way of the travel path of the lockup. And then outside of all that, it's good. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This has been a full review of the Urban Supply EDC Becerro. It's good to get back after it, guys. Y'all take care. Bye.